This is an overview of TecPoint Point of Sale. It is a fully featured point of sale system where you can have customers, products, inventory, how much you have in inventory. When you have customers that have a credit, that have a charge account, you can see how much they owe you. You can send statements and so on. Today I will show you the basics of doing a sale. First, I will just give you an overview of the basic screens in TecPoint. There are customers and products which you can also access partially from the point of sale directly. If you press the buttons, it'll show you all customers, it'll show you all products, and there are also shortcuts. So in almost any screen, if you press the F1 key, F1 is help, it'll show you some documentation about this page, and also you can go to the shortcuts to learn how to use shortcuts in this screen. So there are shortcuts for the point of sale screen, and then there are also a few global shortcuts like the F1, the Control F1 for send bug report, very important. If there's something that doesn't work well, if you send me a bug report, that often helps to figure out if something is wrong. And then there's some date shortcuts. That is when you have a date field, you can easily change the day, and there's some shortcuts you can learn to easily jump to the beginning of the year and beginning of the month and so on. We won't go into the details of everything, but you have an idea. Customers, there's also sub-tabs up here, same for products. There's purchasing, there's also generating purchases based on sales history or based on how much you want to have in stock. There's some accounting tools, some reports and so on, and there's more reports, and there'll be more to come, and then a bunch of settings. So in the point of sale, to do a sale, all you need to do is type in what you want to sell. Hammer, there's only one in my products with that in the description or code or anything, so it comes up right away. If I want to add a service, there's also nothing else with SER in the description, so it comes up, and that one is configured to automatically pop up with the price, because one day you might want to sell $20 of service and one day $50. In this case it's plus tax, but if I want to include tax, I can use this field as a calculator. 50 divided by 1.125 will give you the price without tax. As soon as I press tab or click somewhere else, it calculates what is in the field. In this case, we can edit the service main description, and we can add a comment. We can always add a comment. This description we can only edit if we configure the product for this to be editable. So the main description changes on the invoice, and also there's a comment that will also print on the invoice. Now these prices show tax included, so you can see it's $50 tax included, and this hammer is $16.50 tax included. We can sell without a customer. Let's do a cash sale. On account does not work if there's no customer, because that's a credit to someone, and on account we can do a cash sale where I can type in, okay, the customer gave me $70, how much change should I give them? And it shows up right away. Or I can simply press space bar on my keyboard, and it automatically puts in the $66.50 as a payment and goes right to, do you want to print a receipt? System print, you can always do that later, or just no print. Save, and that sale is complete. If I click this number, it'll bring me right back to that sale. It shows what I have just sold, the prices. I can click print or email, it'll load. If I put an address or a logo, I can also show those as well. There are other options. Let's do another one where we charge on account. So I can click the number, or I can press plus when the search products here is selected at the bottom, I can press plus and it adds to the quantity, or minus, it subtracts on my keyboard. There's shortcuts also. Control plus brings me right to the quantity where I can say, okay, I want to sell 12 and I want to sell to my own company and I want to charge on account. I also want to give a discount. You can set up custom discounts, you can set up automatic discounts, but for now I will just put in a manual 5% discount. And when I save, I go on account and I press spacebar. It automatically, since the on account is selected, I press spacebar, automatically puts it in, and I just click save and it's done. So again, I can see this here, or I can go in sales history and it brings me to all my sales history. I can double click or I can click document details and it brings me back to the same screen we were at earlier. Now if I enter my own company, it shows that we have $995 that we owe. Some of that is from before. If I click it, it shows me that there's the $513 invoice that is still due that I just made. I made one on November 14 that I still owe $450, and I made one on October 31 where I still owe $32.50. So a $50 payment was made towards this invoice. So that's why it only, the outstanding is only $32.50 on that invoice. Yes, you can send statements from there, from the same screen as well. Send it to your customer, email it with 2 clicks. Click here and click one more time and it sends the email. Of course, it needs to be configured in the background where you're sending from, but once you do that, you can just click to email. You can click PDF and it downloads a PDF that you can send to someone. So that is the basics of doing sales in TecPoint. Now, if I'm finished for the day, I can go to cash report and it shows me all my cash that I got in for today. I can add more denominations here if I want to. If I want to put in all the $20, $50, $100 separately, I can do that. There's in my settings, there's configuration where I can add all these. But let's say I just want to put in, I have $66.50. The float is for money that stays in your till. So let's say I want to keep $50 for tomorrow, but the rest I'm depositing in my safe. So we will put 51 cents, which would then be 50 cents total. The 1 cent value times 50 is 50 cents. $50 in my drawer plus $16 to deposit. So now my short and over is $0. On account, we don't need to do anything. It just shows the history of everything that went on account. When we're done, I click save. And notice that my float amount is $50. Now when I save and close batch, I don't need to print this if I don't want to. Tomorrow, when I come back and I open my cash report, it'll show that I have an opening float of $50. It seems like my screen is not refreshed. Let me refresh it here manually once. There might be a bug. So I need to fix that bug. But now it shows, so I just refreshed the page. Now it shows $50 is in the system, and that is because of the opening float. That means in my drawer, $50 stayed in my drawer that I'm starting with today. So at the end of the day, that $50 is included so that you know how much you have over and short today. So you can check your cash at the end of the day and be sure that everything is correct. And that's it. This is just an introduction video. There's a lot more I could show. The received payments for customers once they have charge on account and they want to make a payment, you can use that. You can do orders and add deposits to orders. If someone wants to pay you for something that they're ordering but they're not picking up yet, you can do a deposit on an order, and a lot more features that I haven't mentioned yet. This is just an introduction.